Hi, Jamie. How you doing? I got your work up right here. And yeah, I think this logo is going to work a lot better. And I think that showing it on this background is really indicative of what I'm talking about because, when we have these winter events, there's, boy, you have to really consider looking at the work outdoors in inclement weather. And I think that the way it was before, though it was a beautiful mark and the color combination was wonderful, it just didn't have the contrast needed to be able to really be visible in outdoors in a winter event, presumably snowing, right? Okay, is this the best image for the cover? It just seems like it's kind of a nondescript image. I mean, I think this is a wonderful, something like that, or just something that says Denmark. This could be kind of anywhere, I guess. I just don't know if this is the best image to use for your introduction to this. Okay, I'm introducing the world to Copenhagen as my choice for the 2022 Olympics. And it just seems like you could just come up with just a really much more pleasing image. Think about that. Move on to the next page, page 2. Great job. I'm just a little concerned that, is that all the type that you're is that it? Think about all of that research that we did. You should be including all of that in your presentation. I'm going to say, unofficially, I'm looking for about 20 to 25 pages in your final presentation. So think about that, and I'm going to give you some ideas, and I'm going to point you in a direction that will give you some inspiration and some ideas to really add some dynamic pieces that will push the presentation really over the top. But let's continue and let's see where we got. Next page, primary branding elements. So right now you're just going into, these look fantastic, I think, and your placement. What you're doing is great, I think. The tickets look phenomenal. My only suggestion with the tickets is that it just seems like this should be a little bit bigger. Just thinks that it seems like that might be a little bit, because that's the pertinent information. This, you can maybe even reduce the size of the logo to increase the size of the information. Don't forget it's an international audience, so you cannot get lost up in things like this. Has got to be so crystal clear. And right now I'm seeing that your leading your kerning is really tight. So as we can see, if we see Copenhagen winter arena, watch what happens when we back down. It turns into a red stripe. And I think that's a concern, because right now, with an international audience, I think the primary concern here is, of course, communication. Ticket, you know what? Can you give us the whole background on your ticket, the color choices, talk about the patterns, why this image, why the logo is placed here, and why you've just elected to use these typefaces. It's really important. I think it really, really describes your design and the intent behind your design. And I think it will help the viewer to ascertain whether or not this is this is indeed a good location based on the information you've given. Talk about this, a lamp signpost to guide people to their destination. Now, I don't know. Devil's advocate here. How is this guiding people? I don't understand how this lamppost sign is guiding people to their destination. It's just a lamppost. I would rather have you talk about the design and the intent behind the design than to add something that probably isn't relevant. I hope that makes sense. Looks great. I want you to try something. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And listen, I really want you to try something, okay? There's a technique in Photoshop called displacement map. And I want you to, well, actually, it looks like you used a displacement map here. So I guess you are. This doesn't look believable, that the type doesn't. It just looks like you put it right over the top of that image of that shirt. So there's none of the wrinkles are coming through, and it just doesn't look like it's part of the shirt. And that's where displacement map comes in. Displacement map allows, I'm pretty sure you did a displacement map here, and that's awesome. But that backpack's much more suitable than that kind of nylon shirt. Okay, so I don't have to be the one to tell you that you're really super underdeveloped here, because I think self-admittedly you are. You said you were. But I do want to point you in the direction that will give you some fantastic inspiration for rounding this thing out and finishing it. I left, I apologize. There's a couple of broken links in the classroom. I'm not sure how that happened. They've worked every day. I've been using them every day, and they've been working every day until I think the day before yesterday. All of a sudden, boom, they're gone. So what I did is I placed two prior students' examples in the announcements area. I'd like you to go through both of those and really consider that those are a work, okay? And I want you to do this. I want you to compare that work with your work and tell me how you would grade yourself. Actually, don't tell me. Just, think about how you would grade yourself. Does your work stack up to the work that was submitted previously that is a work, okay? And that's why, one of the reasons why I included them. Also, the other reason is to let you guys get some good inspiration from what I consider excellent examples. Okay, so keep doing what you're doing. Just like I said, I'd like to get to about 25 pages. Don't force it. And I think that at this point, I think you're just really, really text light. I mean, I would love to see all of this stuff really described. I mean, you describe the logo, that's great, but let's get in here and describe strength through perseverance. I mean, that just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Let's describe it. Describe it. How does it work in your, what are you trying to say with that statement? How does that relate to Copenhagen? How does that relate to the Olympics? How does that relate to this world event? Okay. And the same thing with some of your other design decisions. Actually, no. So, yeah, so take a look at those examples, and I'll be here every day, all week. So if you have anything you want to run by me before you turn your final submission, and I think that would be awesome, I'll be glad to give you a partial critique or a, you're partially done. But I really, really think you're underdeveloped here, and I'd like to see you try to address those issues. Okay? Any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. Okay? Thanks very much.